Florida, I mean, it was May, so it was just the start of the summer, and we flew in, and Jacksonville is its own airport, so we get out. There was 8 of us in my group that went together, and we get out there, and I was just like, oh man, it's humid, I love this. I mean, I prefer the humid heat so much better than the dry heat. So I was loving it from day one. And we're out driving around, and I was just like blown away by how green it was. You know, it's like, I remember South Africa was really green during the summers, but you get to Florida and it's like, whoa, I've never seen so much green in my entire life. I mean, if there's not something built there, there's a tree or there's swampland or something like that. I mean, there's just so much life in Florida, even in like giant cities. You know, you'll drive through the suburbs and you'd never tell there was like tons of houses back there until you actually drove past them. It was just so much greenery. I remember driving through Jacksonville. You know, Jacksonville is, you know, the biggest city area-wise in the United States. It's not a small place. We cross over a bridge. It's called the Buckman Bridge. It goes over the St. Johns River. It's a mile. The river is a mile wide. I just remember sitting there going, wow, this is really big. And I remember we get to the mission home, and my mission president is probably the greatest man I know. He's so funny, but just so fired up. He was just fired up all the time. He was just very excitable about missionary work. And sitting down with the first interview with him, most people I hear horror stories of like their first interviews with their mission presidents. They're like, he intimidated me so much. Things like that. I'm like, I love my mission president. He just made me feel very comfortable, feel very welcome, and made me feel excited and things like that. My first area was very, very interesting. It was in this tiny little town called Lake City. It's about 20 miles south of the Georgia border, just before you hit the Panhandle. And we roll up to where we're living, and it's literally a hunting cabin in the woods. It was built in like the 50s or something. And I'm just like, what is going on? My companion takes me inside, we put everything down, and I look outside and there's horses and goats in our backyard. I was like, what is happening? Where am I? It's like, because you think of Florida and you're like, palm trees, beaches. I go here, I'm like, am I in Louisiana? Am I in Alabama? I mean, North Florida is very different from what you picture most of Florida to be. And so that was fun, you know, just go there, and it's just so different from what I expected it to be. You know, just pine forests everywhere and just woods, and it was fantastic.